We are only 2 days away from Nebraska's home opener versus the Akron Zips. And man, oh man, over these past couple hours, we've received a bunch of big-time news. The latest around Jacory Barney's injury, what's been going on recently, whether or not he will miss an extended period of time, and everything else you need to know. It's been announced who our official left tackle starter will be. I'll give you the latest on both Elijah Pritchett and Gunnar Gottula. Isaiah Mozee's brand new role in the offense. It's going to look a lot different in the Akron game. It was just announced about 1 hour ago. A huge change to the college football transfer portal that's going to have legit implications for Nebraska. We'll talk about that. And then as the video progresses, a couple other things that we need to discuss. So really quick, this video is jam-packed. If you're having a good Thursday, I know I am. Hit that like button. And also if you're a diehard Nebraska fan and you're not subscribed, what are you waiting for? Listen, this is the only place this season you can get daily content on Huskers. It's a no-brainer. Take 2 seconds. Join the family. Hit that subscribe button. Thank you so much. But on that note, let's get into it. I want to start things off with the Matt Rhule press conference, everything that he was talking about going into the Akron game on Saturday. Then we'll get to the Jacory Barney injury update, the big transfer portal change that was literally just announced about 1 hour ago, and a couple other things that we need to discuss. But let's get things started with the left tackle position, because we know that going into Cincinnati, Nebraska, they rotated 3 tackles in. Gunnar Gottula, Elijah Pritchett, and Turner Corcoran. And when I was rewatching the game, all of those guys had their pros, all of those guys had their cons, but Matt Rhule made it very clear that going into Akron, going into the rest of the season, they were going to figure out who that star was going to be, because you can't rotate left tackles in every single series. They got to find out who their solidified guy is going to be going forward, and they've done exactly that. It's been announced that Nebraska's official left tackle starter will be Gunnar Gottula. Our second string left tackle will be Elijah Pritchett, and then Turner Corcoran will be our swing tackle / swing guard coming off the bench. So my initial impression, I love this. You know, Gunnar Gottula, he was not perfect for Cincinnati. He gave up a couple pressures here and there. He was not as dominant in the running game as what I was expecting. But when you look at the full body of work, when you look at him at both in the Cincinnati game and through all of fall practice, he's been the best left tackle, and it's not even close. He's brought out the best in guys like both Elijah Pritchett and Turner Corcoran. So hopefully he can get better as the year progresses. He wasn't perfect. You need your left tackle to kind of be the pillar, be the anchor of your entire offensive line. He's not there just yet, again, but hopefully he can continue to improve. Again, from last year, when he started starting last year, he was not a very good player, and by the end of the year, he was pretty productive. So hopefully, if he is following that same trajectory, he's going to be good, at least going into the back half of 2025. And then, I mean, talking about Elijah Pritchett, obviously incredibly disappointing. For him to come in from Alabama with all these expectations, former 5-star, all the NFL draft hype, and for us to pay him $1 million for him to ride the bench, yeah, that's disappointing. And I mean, there's a couple people to blame. It is what it is, right? The coaching staff, they're mostly to blame. They knew what they're getting into, right? You don't really pay $1 million for a player sitting on the bench, but they decided to do that. They decided to take on the risk, and this is where you kind of bite the bullet, right? But again, Elijah Pritchett, he wasn't terrible against Cincinnati. Like, he was really good in the running game from what I was seeing. Obviously, he was not good in the pass pro. He gave up that crucial sack at the end of the game that gave Cincinnati the ball back. They probably could have won if it weren't for our defense. So listen, Elijah Pritchett, also that false start. He wasn't perfect, but hopefully he can continue to improve, and maybe, you know, he can fight to start as the year goes on. But right now, he will be on the bench. So that was the first bit of news that was released. Also, Isaiah Mozee will have a brand new role in this offense now that Janiran Bonner is out for the year with an ACL tear. Isaiah Mozee, he's likely going to be returning to wide receiver per Matt Rhule. He said, and I quote, he's going to have a unique role. It's going to be a lot different than just being a running back. What I'm expecting, I've told you guys this all summer, it's going to be a Wan'Dale Robinson type, Deebo Samuel type of role, right? It's going to be, he's in the slot, he's out wide, he's on jet sweeps, he's in the backfield, he's on special teams, he's doing it all. That's what they're going to utilize Isaiah Mozee to do, right? He's not just going to be purely a running back, right? He's going to literally do everything. He's going to be utility Ives. So again, Isaiah Mozee is one of those guys where he's so speedy, he's so productive. You got to get the ball in his hands any way possible. So likely you're going to expect to see him out there at wide receiver versus Akron, also in the backfield. Not only for Akron, but for the rest of the season, he's going to be playing multiple positions. And then let's get to Jacory Barney. We know that versus Cincinnati, very early on the ball game, they were hitting us low, right? They were a low tackling group per Dana Holgerson. They were going for the knees, they were going for the ankles. And Jacory Barney, on the first possession of the game, he banged up his right ankle. He was never the same after that. He ended the game. He played every single series, but he didn't tell the coaching staff about the injury because he was gutting through it. But Jacory Barney, that ankle injury was a lot more significant than what we were giving it credit for. He was limited all week in practice. He was never full go. There was a lot of questions whether or not he would play this week versus Akron. Now, it was confirmed by Matt Rule today that he is expected to suit up versus the Zips and play, but I'll tell you this, there is a massive caveat. He's likely going to be on a snap count. So yes, he's going to suit up versus Akron, but I would not be shocked if you only see him out there for 1 or 2 drives, right? We're assuming Nebraska's going to blow out Akron. That's the expectation. If Nebraska's up 21-0 going into the second quarter, you're likely not going to see Jacory Barney out there again, right? Because they're going to be very, very safe about it. They know they're going to beat Akron, right? They know they're going to beat Houston Christian, and they want to make sure Jacory Barney's healthy for the rest of the year, not only for next week, but literally the rest of the year. Not only the Michigan game, but for the Iowa game in week 14, right? So they're going to play it very safe with Jacory. Yes, he'll play both for Akron and Houston Christian, but I think for these next 2 weeks, you will only see him on a snap count. You will see him at a very limited level because, again, they don't want to risk it. They want him to be 100% and ready to go versus Michigan. So hopefully that ankle gets better. If it somehow gets worse, he probably will not play versus HCU next week. So I wanted to talk about that. All right, let's get to the transfer portal because it was just announced a massive change literally about 1 hour ago by On3. It's been announced by the NCAA that they have voted to support a single transfer portal window in January. Now, this is going to look completely different from what we've been doing recently. As you guys know, the transfer portal has opened up with 2 different windows, both at the start of December, and that goes for about a month, and then at the start of April, that goes for about a week. So again, the 2 window has just been a nightmare. That's the reason why these teams are shutting down spring practices. They're shutting down spring games entirely because the spring window is just absolutely terrible for the sport, and they've changed that now. Again, there's 2 massive changes. Now there's only 1 window, but it's in January. That's the first big one where pretty much now nobody can enter the portal before these bowl games. So a lot of times you'll watch bowl games and the game will just be of terrible quality because all the good players have entered the portal. That's not happening anymore because now the portal's going to open up after all those bowl games are done. So that's a great change. It's going to open up on January 2nd now with this proposed change. And then the second big thing is that instead of the window being open for a month, it's only open for 10 days. So pretty much you have to have an idea going into it, right? You have to know, okay, I'm going to enter or I'm not going to enter. You can't just wait the entire month and then enter last second because, like, I'll go back to last year with Nebraska. Dante Dowdell, he had no intention of entering the portal. He wanted to stay at Nebraska, but I think it was about 3 weeks in, he got a call from Kentucky. They had a couple players leaving the portal, and Kentucky tampered with him. And Kentucky said, you know what? We're going to enter you. We're going to give you X amount of dollars if you enter the portal and go to us. And he said, you know what, bet Nebraska's not going to match that. I'm going to go to Kentucky. So again, that's what happens as this window goes on. Teams get desperate. They get desperate going into the 4th week, going into the 3rd week. So they start to tamper. So with now only 1 window, it saves bowl games. Spring games are probably going to come back. I would not be shocked if Nebraska brings back their traditional spring game next year thanks to this. And then it really, again, lowers the tampering and overall just makes it a lot better for everything. So this is awesome. I'm very, very excited about this, and hopefully I think it will be implemented pretty quickly, at least going into next year. So big news there for everything, but it really does help Nebraska and pretty much every program around the country. Couple other things I really quickly want to talk about. Vincent Shavers, we know what a type of week he had against Cincinnati. He was not a starter, and he was banged up, and yet he was the highest graded player on our entire team, one of the highest graded players in the entire country. For that reason, he was on Pro Football Focus's National Team of the Week. So Vincent Shavers, again, he got to get his black shirt back. But not only that, he's got to start on this team going forward. Vincent Shavers, he played with the most energy literally of anybody on that defense against Cincinnati, at least anybody in the linebacker core and on the defensive line. I can't speak for the secondary because secondary played well, but listen, Vincent Shavers, he played with more energy than Marcus Walton. He played with more energy than Deshaun McCullough, than Buda Wright. Okay, he wanted to go out there and hurt people despite having his hamstring injury. So that says a lot about him and his character and what he's going to do going forward. So Vincent Shavers, he needs to start going forward. He needs to start versus Akron, but wanted to mention that because he got a big time honor. And then really quick, I wanted to talk about this thread that I posted on Twitter. I mean, this one went mega viral. Had 400,000 views. It got liked by multiple Power 4 head coaches, Power 4 assistants. I've never seen anything like it. Like, I was checking my likes on this, and I got, again, a couple Big Ten head coaches were liking this thread. So I don't know how it went so viral, but basically what I was doing was I just posted up a couple clips from the Cincinnati game when I was watching it. I mean, this first clip, look at Elijah Judy. He got pushed back literally 13 yards on the second snap of the game. I mean, it was absolutely ridiculous. We've talked about Elijah Jeudy and the rest of this defensive line. It had a bad day. But anyways, I wish I could share you guys the entire thread, but with YouTube, again, they're very strict about this type of stuff, putting this type of material out there. So again, it would not be great for my channel, but I put that on Twitter. But just wanted to mention that because, again, if you guys are on Twitter, feel free to check out that thread. A lot of insight about Nebraska, what we did from a film standpoint. But again, I was checking my likes, and I was getting, again, like, I got a couple follows here and there from some Big Ten head coaches. I was thinking I was going to get DM'd by some, trying to get some info about our team. I'm just kidding, but I thought that was cool. But just know this, if all those Big Ten coaches saw that thread, you know the Nebraska coaching staff saw that thread. And hopefully, at least that initial post with the Elijah Jeudy getting pushed back 13 yards, I'm sure Matt Rule saw that. I'm sure the rest of the coaching staff saw that, and hopefully they're going to add some changes to the defensive line because, again, versus Cincinnati was unacceptable, right? The rest of the team played so well. I mean, again, I literally watched this game about 4 or 5 times at this point. I'm a junkie. What can I say? And every time I watch this game, I feel a lot better about the secondary, the linebacker core even. I feel great about the entire offense, the special teams. Every single time I watch this game, I feel better about the overall squad. I just feel worse about the defensive line. Literally, the defensive line was the only reason Cincinnati was even in the ball game, maybe besides the fact that from a defensive schematic standpoint, we weren't great. Like, we didn't put a cute quarterback spy on the entire game either. But listen, I saw that to say this. Hopefully, people saw that we make some changes with this defensive line. We get better going forward, and hopefully it adds some motivation for this team. All right, guys, let me know your thoughts down below. Hey, if you made this far, hit that like button and subscribe. As always, folks, go Met Rule, and I'll see you in the next one.